your interest in this course, this foundation course 3, which is on meditation. I'm quite honored to be sharing this course with you. My personal goal is that at the end of this course, not only will it give you what you need to have a stable foundation to see the nature of reality directly, but that you do so and that you share this course with others as you continue your practice in meditation. So if you could think about your motivation, why are you here? Think about that for a few seconds, and then we'll, excuse me, we'll do the prayers before class. Let me silence my phone because it seems to be dinging a lot. Why are you taking this course? Why are you here this morning? Well, let's do the prayers. Sangye Chiran Soki Chuknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Chola Pinchir Sangye Tupar Sho Sangye Chiran Soki Chuknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kapsu Ji Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Chola Pinchir Sangye Drupar Sho Sangye Chiran Soki Chuknam La Jangchu Partu Dakni Kapsu Chi Daki Jinso Kipe Sunam Ki Drola Pinchir Sangye Drupar Sho. Sashi Puki Chuksing Metok Tram Rirablinshi Nyende Genpadi Sangye Shindu Mikte Owargi Drokun Namdak Shingha Druparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryataya Ami. Um, oh, thanks for sharing some of your motivations. That's beautiful. Thank you. Um, so if you have not taken, if this is the first time that you're experiencing taking a class or a course with me, just to let you know that like I really love the Tibetan language, and all of the teachings that I've received have been from, well, not all of them, but the vast majority of them have been with teachers in the Tibetan tradition. And they range from actual Tibetans to, Westerners. Uh, and but they all used Tibetan language in teaching me. And so I would like to pass that along to you. So don't worry if you don't have a personal interest in learning the Tibetan language. I'm going to ask you to repeat words, and I do so just to plant seeds in your mind that maybe some seed will be planted that sparks your interest to learn this precious language. The Tibetan canon of Buddhist teachings is the most comprehensive that we have left on this planet. We are missing some texts for sure, but the Tibetan collection of the teachings translated into the Tibetan language is the most comprehensive. And that language is in danger of going extinct. It is not practiced much anymore as a spoken language, and then also not taught so much in Asia or even in other countries. There are some people teaching, which is beautiful. But I don't know, there are many languages each year go out of existence on our planet. And this is just one that is at risk. And if this language disappears, then the teachings, this comprehensive collection of the Buddhist teachings on how we can get out of suffering, how we can attain the highest state, the highest possible state we can be, and how we can help, truly help others, will be lost to us or to the future generations. So that's my pitch. So please just go ahead and say the words after me when I ask you. It won't hurt, I promise. Okay, so let's dive in. Oh, wait, first let me share that document. Did I share the same one? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So this course on meditation is going to give you an overview of what meditation is, how you like a structure for thinking about it, how you prepare yourself for meditation, what tools you have to use in meditation. And then at the end, we'll talk about objects of meditation, what we can focus on. So overall, these teachings, this course, comes from, it's called the prayer of Samantabhadra. I don't know if you're familiar with this prayer. but Samantabhadra had this, I don't know, just amazing sort of imagination and creativity. And when um, when he would pray or when he would meditate, he would, for example, when he would think about making offerings to his teacher, his visualized teacher, he would expand himself into countless numbers of Samantabhadras, each of them making offerings to his teacher, so that, excuse me, so that when he's making these offerings, um, uh, he just made it so big, so that the seeds that he's creating are very strong seeds. And so everything he thought about with making offerings, with visualizing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, he would expand them to be numberless, infinite numbers. And when he would make prostrations, he would imagine himself, hundreds of thousands of himself making prostrations to the teachers of the lineage. So he's quite such a creative fellow. And if you have the opportunity to recite that actual prayer, the prayer of Samantabhadra, it's so beautiful. It's really quite something. It's in the Kangyur and the Tengyur. So it's a very popular prayer in the Buddhist tradition. And we're also going to be using Geshe Kappa's Lamrim Chenmo. Say Lamrim Chenmo. I like to see lips moving. I can see some of you. So those 5 of you who represent the entire class, you get to move your lips, and you don't know which 5 are showing up for me. So you should all move your lips. Okay, Lamrim Chenmo. This is like the most famous book ever written in Tibet. Ever written in Tibetan. It's 1,000 pages long, and it's a masterpiece of Geshe Kappa, who lived from 1357 to 1492. Lam Rim, well, Rim, that means stages, and Lam means path. And if you took the first course with me, we talked about different meanings of the word path. And here we're talking about path, like a path that you walk on. Chen means big. And Mo is a feminine ending. Lamrim Chenmo. And it means the gradual steps on the path to enlightenment. It's a presentation of all the steps. I mean, that's what Geshe Kappa did. Is he took the teachings of the Buddha, which were being taught, piecemeal here and there by different teachers, and passed along in that way. And he said, because he saw this danger of the potential for corruption into the teachings, he thought to put them all the teachings like in an order that you could practice them, that any person could start on step one and follow this path and reach enlightenment. So it covers absolutely everything, that all the topics that the Buddha taught. And Geshe Kappa is quite extraordinary in doing. It was not only like a lung, a teaching, but it was also, he quoted scripture right and left in this book. So if you are interested in like further studies on different topics, you can go there and find out, oh, what books is he quoting? What other commentaries, for example, Indian commentaries, or what sutras were focused on this or that subject. So Geshe Kappa, he was a Kagyu in Tibet. Now there's four, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess you would call them schools of Buddhism in Tibet, in Tibetan Buddhism. And Kagyu is one. He had a great Sakya teacher, Rendawa. And he was also in the Nyingma lineage, which is the oldest tradition in Tibet. That's a good one, tradition, the four traditions in Tibetan Buddhism. And with his teachings came a new tradition called Galupa. So he was the first, just like Shakyamuni Buddha was the first Buddhist, Geshe Kappa was the first Galupa. Like, he never called himself that, but people did later, right? His three primary students, heart students, were the first Dalai Lama of Tibet, or the person who became the first Dalai Lama, and then Gyaltsab and Khedrub. And if you come to the mixed nuts translation classes, you'll be very familiar with those names, because we work on texts, commentaries, but also original texts written by Gyaltsab and Khedrub. So the three of them together, Geshe Kappa and Gyaltsab and Khedrub, produced about 30,000 pages of writings. Really incredible. If only our lives were long enough for us to be able to even just read them all, much less study them all. So anyway, in the Lamrim Chenmo, Geshe Kappa also comments on the prayer Samantabhadra. But he also has a section on meditation. If you took the Lamrim course with Geshe Michael, you know this. He started off teaching the Lamrim by teaching the section on meditation, as it was taught by Bumka Rinpoche, but Bumka Rinpoche was basing his teaching on Geshe Kappa's Lamrim Chenmo. Okay. So there are 5 major parts of in this course, in our study of the practice of meditation. The first part is how to prepare for meditation. And as is common with Buddhist writings, like they like to divide things It's not just Tibetans. They like to divide things, and then like the first part will have 2 parts, and the second part will have 6 parts, and like that. So you just have to get used to that in your notes. So the first of the 5 parts of this course is how to prepare for meditation. And that has 2 parts. First, there's what we call the 6 preliminaries. And then second, there is what we call the 7 ingredients. I should open the chat just in case I'm talking too fast or missing a question. Okay. So the 6 preliminaries and the 7 ingredients, or sometimes you hear it called the 7-limb practice. And these are together what we do to get ready for a meditation session. If you've ever been to Diamond Mountain or been to any of the formal meditations with people, you do the 7 limbs. You do the 7 ingredient practice. So you may be familiar with that when we get to it. But both of these, the 6 and the 7, are very important for preparing our bodies and minds for our meditation. They help make us be successful. And we may have direct experience with how to not be successful in meditation. Like if we've ever woken up in the morning and hop out of bed and just sit right down on the meditation cushion, we haven't done really any preparation. And so what's likely to happen is we're going to start leaning over and then fall back asleep, or start dreaming about what's going to be happening in the rest of the day. So there are things we do to prepare our bodies and our minds to make them to put them in as suitable a state as we can for our meditation session. We change gears from whatever it was we were doing before our meditation session. The second part, so the first part was preparation. The second part is this has 6 parts, but is the ideal meditation environment. The physical circumstances that we need, what physical environment is most conducive to meditation practice, and it's got 6 parts to it. But this one makes sense too, right? Like maybe doing meditation in the middle of a train station isn't the best place. It won't provide the best circumstance for you to do focused meditation. We'll talk about it later, but actually I like really busy places, but I'm kind of a renegade and a little bit strange. So keep that in mind too. Anyway, so that's the third. So we've got preparation is the first part, and the second part, is the environment. The third part is the correct posture for meditation. And that's called the 8-point posture. You may also hear it as the Vairochana 8-point posture. It's just three things, or I mean 8 things that you place your body in, like a straight spine and your head straight, not put to the side or forward or back, and that sort of thing. It's not like it's very complicated. But we'll talk about that in a later class. Geshe Michael mentioned at this point when he taught this course that Jason Kappa's, and actually many people who talk or write about meditation, teach meditation, base their teachings on Master Kamala Shila's writings on meditation. Master Kamala Shila, he lived in the 9th century, and he wrote 3 different books on meditation, all of them called Gomrim. And we're going to talk about Gom in a minute, but Rim, you know, is stages. He was an Indian master, sage, and he came to Tibet to share teachings. And there was a Chinese master who arrived in Tibet at the same time. And they call him Huashang. I'm not sure if that was his real name or not, but that's what he's called now. And they had different ideas about the object that we should have in meditation. Huashang was advocating that true meditation is emptying your mind and thinking nothing at all. And Master Kamala Shila said that, you know, meditation is just an instrument. It's a tool. It's the way we focus our minds on an object, and we need to focus our mind on a meaningful object. And we'll get into that later. And he identified, in his books, he identified the stages that we're going to talk about later as well. So anyway, they had a debate, the 2 of them, and that's the way they resolved spiritual conundrums. You know, they would have, you know, well, do we meditate on nothing or do we meditate on something? Those are 2 very different ideas. So they had a debate about it in front of the king, and Master Kamala Shila won the debate, and the king said, okay, that's what we're now going to do. And now no one can talk about meditation being meditating on nothing or clearing your mind. In my country, that doesn't happen. So fortunately for us and for all who came after, we have many commentaries and books about meaningful objects of meditation. So again, the first 3 parts are preparing for meditation, and then the environment or the physical place of meditation, and then like arranging our physical body to get it in the best place. The 4th one, or this is what I have to do. The 4th one is the actual mental process during meditation. What we meditate on, and what we're going through as we're meditating. So this has 3 steps of this mental process. The first step is called the 5 problems of meditation. So these are 5 very typical, and probably, this is just what happens, is there are 5 different problems that come up in meditation. We can think of a couple of them really easily, like being sleepy, or having a runaway mind that's just thinking, not about our object of meditation. So, and Master Kamalashia was he gave us this sort of breakdown of this process. So he identifies these 5 problems of meditation. They come up in a certain order, so they're very predictable. And again, they come up for pretty much everybody who ever takes up the practice of meditation. The second part of the process, the mental process of meditation, are the 8 corrections. So we've got 5 problems, and there are 8 corrections or antidotes that we apply to the problem when it arises. So it's very cool that we have this laid out for us, this mechanism, this process. So we know what to do. And that's pretty much, until we are able to focus our minds, that's pretty much what we're doing most of the time, is identifying problems and applying antidotes. And that's really cool. We shouldn't feel like that's not meditation, because at the beginning, that is meditation. And if we do it, that's great, because if we didn't do it, we'd be stuck, at the first problem forever. So then the third part of the process of meditation are the 9 stages of meditation. So as problems come up and antidotes are applied, we train our minds to work with this problem, and we do so in such a way that we advance and we reach different stages of meditation. So, like at the beginning, our focus on an object, like a pen. If we're closing our eyes and we're visualizing a pen, the pen would be like, our attention on the pen would be on and off, on off, on off, on off, more and more off than on. Like sometimes you'd be sitting there for a while and it's like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be meditating on a pen. And then you bring to mind the pen again. And then we advance up through these 9 stages to where we can place our mind single-pointedly on our chosen object of meditation and keep it there for the length of time that we want. So we go from like no control over our mind, over placing our mind on an object, to total control of placing our mind on it. So that's all. So it's very cool that this process is all identified, so that we can identify where we are in the stages of meditation. And then also, when we become very familiar with it, when we're in meditation, we know how to identify the problem, like what what is this problem exactly that I'm experiencing, and exactly what correction or what antidote to apply. And we can advance through these stages relatively quickly if we're practicing on a daily basis for some period of time. Geshe Michael's over the years, he said different amounts of time, like 1 hour or 2 hours or 20 minutes. But we should start with where we are, because you never want to get off the cushion being upset at meditation, right? Like being really frustrated with meditation. So if you start off with just a couple of minutes, if that's the energy you have, that's fantastic. You say, okay, I'm going to meditate for 3 minutes, and you set your little alarm, and then you gradually increase over time. It's just training like you would physically train your body to run a marathon. You don't start training by running a marathon. You start by running around the block or something like that. Well, you start by stretching, but anyway. But if we want to see the nature of reality directly, if we want to have that experience of seeing emptiness, and in doing so become a stream enter, become someone who is inexorably going to reach enlightenment. Like there's nothing that could stop you. Once we see emptiness directly, the path is much smoother sailing after that. But in order for us to reach that state, we have to be able to reach the ninth stage of meditation, that tool, and have as our object selflessness. So we have to just practice. And every time we practice, it's something really incredible to rejoice about, because we are doing what we need to do to plant the seeds to see emptiness. And then the fifth part is the object of meditation, as I said. And we'll talk about that more after we go through all these more technical details beforehand. So meditation itself is a tool. It's a focus. It's an ability of the mind. It's not an end in and of itself. Meditation is the way to prepare your mind to be fully engaged with an object. There are many like meditation traditions these days that will will say you should focus on the breath alone, or that you should just empty your mind of all thoughts. And it's true that you can advance through these stages of meditation with those objects, right? Because it's just a tool. Meditation is just a tool. You can have any object. But if your object is just the breath, or nothing at all, that's not a very helpful object. Why would you want to engage your mind fully with nothing at all? How would that help your suffering? How would that allow you to help other people? I mean, sure, you can be more calm, but it will not prepare you for seeing emptiness directly, or to generate compassion for others, that sort of thing. Different objects you can have that will advance you on the path to becoming the highest kind of being you can be. So we are going to, at the end, talk about those objects that are like worthy of this very powerful tool of a mind that is completely trained. Okay, so let's see. The five parts of this course. Can anyone want to give me the first one? I can't read Vietnamese. Preparation, thank you. And the second one? The environment. Yes, beautiful. The third one? The posture. Yes, thank you. The fourth one? I can't hold my pinky down. The fourth one? The mental process. Yes, thank you. And then the fifth one is the object. Yes. Thank you so much. What we're going to do now is go over some words, different words that are used for meditation in Tibetan language and in Sanskrit language. It's a short list. You don't have to memorize them, but just to give you an idea, there's like in the excuse me, the topic of Buddhism, there are so many different words for meditation. There are different words for mind, and they each have slightly different flavors. So the teachings are quite detailed. Like in the United States, there's in the we call it the lower 48. It's the 48 states that are contiguous. In those 48 states, there's one word for snow, and it's snow. You know, we have snow or we don't have snow. In Alaska, there's like 100 words for snow because there's all these different presentations of frozen ice that falls from the sky. It could be sort of sleety. It could have a different color. It could melt quickly, or it could be more stable. Like there's many different ways of identifying snow. So in the same way, Buddhism has many words for meditation and many words for mind and many words for compassion. So it's good for us to start to build an understanding, or at least just be introduced to these different words for meditation. Some of them we probably have heard around, particularly the Sanskrit ones. But some of them were new to me. Well, one of them was new to me. Okay, so the first word we're going to look at is gompa. Say gompa. Gompa. And this is the Tibetan translation of bhavana, the Sanskrit word. The Sanskrit word of Master Kamalashila's text, Komrim, is Pavanakrama. So Gom, the root word Kom, means to get used to something, to become familiar with, to habituate ourselves with something. So this word in this presentation, gompa, means meditation, but the verb to meditate is gongya. Gongya. So in this word, gompa, this word, when it talks about meditation, it's primarily talking about getting used to your object of meditation, becoming thoroughly familiar with your object by doing it over and over and over and over again. So on your homework, it's going to ask you for like what aspect of meditation this word focuses on. And it's this idea of bringing your mind to an object over and over, repeatedly, until you are used to it, until you get used to it. And we all have this kind of meditation, even in our daily lives, not sitting on the cushion. For example, I don't know about you, but sometimes if something happens that I don't care for, like let's say someone cuts me off in traffic, then like I think about that later. And I tell the story to other people. Oh, this guy cut me off in traffic. I can't believe this guy cut me off in traffic. And we say it over and over, and our mind becomes habituated, gets very used to being sort of upset at this object. But also in other things, like if you play an instrument. Like I played piano, and I took lessons for I started begging my parents for lessons when I was 5, and I took lessons through high school, and I played every day. So I became that was my object, was a particular piece of music. and playing that music. So the same with an instrument. You can be yeah, you just do it over and over and you become habituated to it. It's kind of like a screensaver on a computer or iPad or something. When all of a sudden the moving flashy lights come up, and it's keeping. I don't know how monitors are actually physically designed or why it happens, but it used to be that they didn't have screensavers. I was around computers back then when they didn't, and if your monitor had been on a particular, it was just text at that time, it just had some particular text on it, then when you turn the monitor off, it would still be there, like it was burned into the monitor in a way. So that's the same with our minds. We're burning. Gomrim or Gompa is burning into our minds. The second word for meditation that we're going to talk about is samten. Say samten. Samten. And the Sanskrit word is dhyana, which you may have heard of. And this word, in generally speaking, has a connotation of a stable state of mind, steady state of mind. The word is used in 3 different ways that the homework asks you to list out. The first is that there's samten in the perspective of the 6 perfections. The 6 perfections are practices of a bodhisattva. And if you took course 2, you went through these 6. If you didn't, I'll just list them for you briefly. Unless someone can list them for me. Is there anyone here who can share with us the 6 perfections? Does anyone know the first perfection? Giving. Yes, great. Oh, good. And then the second perfection is ethics. Yeah. The third perfection is not getting angry or patience. Geshe Michael likes to say not getting angry because patience sounds like I don't know. It's too weak, he says. The fourth one, joyful effort. The fifth one, meditation. And the sixth one, wisdom. Very good. Okay, good. So meditation is the 5th of the 6 perfections. So samten is the word that they use when they're talking about the 5th perfection, the perfection of concentration or the perfection of meditation. Then there is samten used in the perspective of 4 levels of deep meditation. And these 4 levels are called samten. The results of these 4 levels of Samten are to be reborn in one of the 4 levels of the form realm. Thank you for the list there in the chat. So the form realm. So there, just to say very briefly, there are 3 realms of existence in the Buddhist cosmology. The first is the desire realm. This is the one we know about. This is the one, if you're like me, this is the one that you're in right now. The Dalai Lama says that it's called desire because we're mainly focused about food and sex. We desire them, driven by them. So we are in that realm. It's called Dukkam, the desire realm. And that's really the only realm we know about, if you're like me, that we have seen directly, that we have an actual experience of, is this realm. We learn about the other realms. Well, actually, we don't even know about all the parts of the desire realm, right? There's the in the desire realm, there's the hell realm, and there's hungry ghosts, and we see animals. There are like deities and jealous deities, but that we don't, until we see them, we can only be taught about them. There are bardo beings, those beings that are in between the death of one life and the birth of the next life. But we're very familiar with the human part of the desire realm, and we at least have some contact with the animals in the desire realm. The next realm is called the form realm, and in this realm, all the beings are just extremely beautiful, and they live in a state of bliss or very high pleasure. I shouldn't say bliss. That's more the Buddha's experience. But they have very subtle bodies, and they're very beautiful form, and they're very, very happy. And then they burn up all their good karma, and in their next life they go to the hell realm, in the desire realm. And then the third realm is called the formless realm. And these are, as the name suggests, beings that don't have any physical form. It's not that they don't have any physical form. They have a very, very, very subtle physical form in the form of energy. But they're mainly mental beings. So you can't see them. If you are in the formless realm, you're not in a place. It's not a physical realm at all. So by doing the 4 samtens, and it's a progression, you get born in one of the 4 levels in the form realm. So, I mean, as I just said, that the form realm, everyone's beautiful there, but then they use up all their good karma and fall down into the hell realms in their next birth. It's like they just use up all their good karma being beautiful and being happy. So it's not really a place we want to go to. So these 4 samten, with one exception, are are taught in those who are focusing on meditation as an end, and not meditation as a tool. Like, we talk about meditation as a tool for seeing emptiness directly, for example, or for developing compassion. We don't want to go hang out and be beautiful and happy for, it would be a long period of time, but then just use up all our good karma. But there is what they call the preliminary to the first level of the form realm. That's the platform for our mind to see emptiness directly. That's where our mind needs to be. We can be here in the desire realm. Our physical body and our brain and our breath is here in the desire realm, but our concentration is in the preliminary level to the first level of the form realm. And we'll talk more about that later. And then the third way that the word samten is used is in relation to seeing emptiness directly. We want our concentration to be at the very just beginning of that first samten, that first level of the form realm. Our concentration is there. It's not that we're born there. It's that our concentration is at that level. So the three meanings of samten then are the first meaning is it's used in relation to the fifth perfection in the 6 perfections of a bodhisattva. And then we have the 4 causal samtens for being reborn in one of the 4 levels of the form realm. And then the third is in seeing emptiness directly at the preliminary part of that first level of the form realm. The third word for meditation is nyomjuk. Say nyomjuk. I want to see lips moving. Nyomjuk. There we go. I saw lips. Thank you. Okay, and the Sanskrit for nyomjuk is samapatti. And this one maybe is, this Sanskrit word is a little more familiar or more commonly used. And the root, nyom, it means balanced or equal. So nyomjuk is a meditation that is balanced between the 2 like major irritants with meditation, sleepiness and agitation. So mental dullness and mental agitation. It's balanced between these 2. The mind is awake, aware, but it's not so tense that it's like vibrating. Um, but it's also not so, it's not so fuzzy or or stagnant as dullness. So it's this sweet spot between being dull and being agitated. And that's samapatti. So you could call this balance between these two extremes. Nyomjuk is used in, let's see, was it 2 ways or 3 ways? Also is used in 3 ways. It's sort of similar to Samten, but there are no Nyomjuk meditations where in the first use is you be born in the former. So the first 2 are causal meditations. So they're meditations that will result in you being born in the former. And it takes a lot of karma to be born in the form realm. A lot of good karma to be born in either the form or formless realm. And this meditation of being balanced between dullness and agitation, you're not creating negative karma. Like when you're in meditation, you're not lying or stealing or cheating or fooling around with someone's partner or any of the negative deeds. You're meditating. So people who meditate a lot and are very good at it are creating the seeds to be born in the form realm, unless you're directing them the way you want to, just as an aside. So that's the first kind of Nyomjuk, is causal meditation for being born in the form realm. The second one is causal meditation for being born in the formless realm. So these are causal Nyomjuk, causal meditation. And again, this is not really a meditation that we focus on because we are interested in not being born there in the form or formless realms. We want our minds to visit the preliminary level of the first form realm. But other than that, you really don't want to go there. It's very, very expensive. It'd be like using all your money to I don't know, spend a week at the most glorious hotel resort or something like that, and then you've used all your money and you have nothing. And where are you going to go? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to live? So it's the same thing. We don't want to waste our precious karma on being reborn in those realms. Okay. The third kind of Nyomjuk is called cessation meditation. And this is, the mind can't cease. The mind continues. It is not it comes in and out of existence every moment, right? It is a changing thing, a caused thing, but you can't kill it. You can't break it such that it no longer exists ever again. So this cessation meditation, I used to be confused about this. Hey, it's impossible. We can't shut down our mind. Right. We can't shut down our mind, but we can reach a state where most of the mental factors, there are 52 mental factors. We can reach a state where the gross mind is shut down and these mental factors are not going on. These are discussed in another course, or if you have words book on the Golden Key, it has an appendix of the 52 functions of the mind. But this is like a place where everything is very, very still. And it has been confused with nirvana. But it's not nirvana, because it's quite pleasant, right? To not have all the busyness and activity going on in the mind. But there's still the functions of sensation and discrimination, feeling and discrimination. So those are the three aspects of Nyomjuk. Causal meditation for being born in the form realm, causal meditation for being born in the formless realm, and cessation meditation. Then the next word we're going to talk about is Nyamshak. Say Nyamshak. The Sanskrit is samahita. This is the word that I'd never heard before. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay, sorry, I thought I mixed them up. Okay, so this word, Nyamshak, it's used in describing the path of seeing, which is the part of the path of seeing where we're in the direct perception of emptiness. So Nyamshak is describing that concentrated state of mind during the direct perception of emptiness. The next word, and this one is very popular, is shine. Say shine. And it is a translation of the Sanskrit word shamatha. Now, we'll go down here. Shamatha is, I'm sorry, I split this over 2 pages. That's kind of awkward. Shamatha is always coming with vipassana, which is hlaktong in Tibetan. So shamatha, vipassana. So shamatha is the highest state of meditation, the most powerful state of meditation. It is the meditation that the state of mind that you have when you are analyzing the nature of reality. Vipassana, special insight. So these two always come together. Shamatha, Vipassana. So it's a shamatha or shine is a single pointed concentration characterized by, and you don't have to remember this now, it will come later, but it's characterized by physical and mental bliss produced by becoming completely used to meditating. The word literally means to stay in a state of quietude or peace. She is peace. And ne, with this spelling, is place or state. So this is what we're aiming for, in particular, when we are talking about the 9 stages of meditation. Shamatha or shine is at the top. That's the 9th stage. That's the kind of meditation we want to have trained our mind to perform for us in order to get the heck out of this cycle of suffering by seeing emptiness directly. This 6th word for meditation that we'll talk about is Tingenzin. This one's another, it's kind of a tongue twister. Say Ting, Ngen, Zin. I see some people with no lips moving. Ting Ngen Zin. Ting Ngen Zin. And the Sanskrit word is samadhi. And that's another very famous word. It's talking about, and you don't have to remember this, I won't even make you say it, but it's sensei chikdute. And it means a single pointed mind, a one pointed mind. And one pointed, what the heck does that mean? That means that the mind has one object. You're able to keep your mind firmly on one object. That's Tingenzin. And we talked about, or I talked about, this is like what pianists have, or rollerbladers, or like anyone who competes in a sport or something has this single pointed concentration. You know, they've got the course in front of them and they're doing the course and they experience nothing else. So those were the words. Now the difference between Tingenzin and Shine is to just remember that Shine is the one that we're going for. It's a level higher above Tingenzin. So Tingenzin is single pointed. Shine is single pointed with physical and mental bliss. So it's gone beyond Tingenzin. Shamatha has gone beyond samadhi. And we'll get there when we go through the 9 stages. So next, we're going to talk about the 6 preliminary practices. Sorry, I had to make that smaller. Hopefully it's not too small. Well, I won't make you say that. Okay, so there are 6 preliminary practices, and this will be the subject of your meditations before the next class. And this is also what Geshe Michael has asked that we memorize. So the first one is Nekang Chi Dong Tendram, which means to create a clean and sacred space. We clean up our room. Even if our room is already clean, we still go through the motions of cleaning it. It's not only a physical movement that we're doing, but it's also a mental movement of cleaning away obstacles. We're clearing a space. The second one of the 6 preliminary practices is chupa. Say chupa. And chupa is making offerings. And if you think about if you have an altar, then you can set up offerings, and we'll get more into more detail about this in the next class. The third is Kyamdro Semke. Say Kamdro Semke. And this should maybe sound familiar because this is what we do before class. This is Kyamdo is going for refuge. And Semke is developing the wish to attain enlightenment. So likewise, we prepare in meditation, we are preparing our minds by thinking about the only thing that protects us is the Buddhist teachings that protects our lives, protects all of us. And then Semke, the wish that we could help everyone else reach enlightenment. So this third of the 6 preliminaries has 2 parts: going for refuge and generating the wish for enlightenment. The fourth one is called Sokshin Seldep. Seldep means to visualize in our mind. Seldep. And Sokshin is, we don't really want to take those words apart, but together, it's talking about, sometimes it's called the field of merit, but you're visualizing all the teachers in the lineage from your teacher up to the Buddha. And of course, we don't start off like running a marathon. We don't start off visualizing all countless numbers of them, but we can just think about our teacher, basically. We can start there. But thinking about our teacher as embodying the 2 great lineages, which are wisdom and compassion, from the Buddhist teachings through our teacher. So we think about that when we visualize our teacher. Then the next preliminary, so important. So I will ask you to say this. It's Soksak Jupjang. So say Sok, Sak, Sok, Sak, Oh, sorry. Your little faces are covering my screen. Drip jung. Drip jung. Sok sok drip jung. Drip, maybe you have heard this word before. It means obstacle, spiritual obstacle. And there are two kinds of obstacles. There's the obstacles to nirvana, which is our, negative emotions. And then there are the obstacles to omniscience. So these are, when you see drip in general like this, it's talking about those two kinds of obstacles. And jang means to purify. So drip jang, we're purifying obstacles. And if you know how to do the steps of purification, we'll get into it later. I don't have to talk about it now. But just know there's a way to purify obstacles. And then sok is to collect all of our good merit. So we contemplate or we think about things that we've done recently that we're planting good positive seeds in our mind to further ourselves along this path to enlightenment. So this part of the 6, to me, this is almost the most important. If we skip this, we can have as much reverence as possible for the lineage, and we can have a very strong feeling of refuge and desire to become enlightened, to benefit all beings. And we can have the cleanest house ever. But if we don't address our seeds, if we don't clear away obstacles and rejoice about good things we've done, our meditation won't be as strong. This became very apparent to me in 3-year retreat, how important this particular preliminary practice is. This next one also they're all important, but this one, just like I could see the difference when I gave it proper attention and not just saying the words, Then the 6th, the last one, is called Sundep, which means to request blessings from the teacher that we have visualized in front of us. So we'll talk more about these 6 in the next class. And is there anyone who has one quick question? I'm sorry I didn't leave good time for questions. Okay, then let's dedicate the merit that we have created by contemplating about meditation. So if you don't have this memorized yet, so make sure to direct all your seeds and plant them in the most powerful way you possibly can for your highest goal. kewa di kewo kun, sunam yeshe dzok sok jing, sunam yeshe le jung wei, dampar kuni topar sho. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share teachings. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your practice. Thank you. May all your highest dreams come true. And I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of days. Have fun meditating. Hey.
Thank you so much.
Благодарю.
Thank you,
Очень-очень.
teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.